This is the magicwordpodcast.com.
Hello and good morning. This is Scott Wells for the magicwordpodcast.com. And we are about to get on a magic carpet, not my normal magic carpet, and heading to the Winter Carnival of Magic. Going to Knoxville, Tennessee, where Tom Vorjohan, who's one of the organizers, will pick me up, and we'll be heading then down to Pigeon Forge for the convention. It promises to be a pretty great one, a lot of really good entertainment. I know Guy Bavley and, golly, I'd forgotten all the rest of the people who are going to be there. Christopher T. Magician, golly, I don't remember all the people. I think I'm going to be playing some part in this whole convention as well. Since they booked me, I'm supposed to do something. Not quite sure. I guess we'll figure it out once we get there. Also, as far as, this is not my normal place. I'm flying out of Bush Intercontinental and on United rather than on my typical Southwest magic carpet. And so it's because apparently Southwest does not fly into Knoxville. So I had to pay double in order to get into Knoxville. I could get into Nashville, but that's just too far of a drive to get over there. Anyhow, so that's just the way it is. The way that Walter Cronkite used to in his broadcast. Anyhow, that is the way that it is. And so while I'm here, got into the United Club. I didn't notice that they have a Dunkin' Donuts here. So in the United Club, I know I could have some breakfast. So I want to share a little taste treat with you of something that I discovered that you might want to try sometime. So I had some scrambled eggs on a flour tortilla. Right? Okay. Then some bacon on top of that. Fine. All well and good. Just a regular kind of a breakfast burrito. Then you put some pineapple on the side. You can put pineapple actually on it, but I was actually eating it on the side. So the sweetness kind of combined with the rest of the saltiness and everything over there just adds a great little flavor. Now, you may not be someone who likes pineapple on pizza. If you're not, then maybe this may not be for you, but it is a different kind of a treat that I might suggest whenever you get an opportunity to try something like that. And as I said, we're heading out, going to be talking with a lot of people over the next few days and be uploading these podcasts. So be sure to come back from day to day to hear what they have to say and who it is that's saying it. So it does not appear that it's going to be as large of a convention as in previous years. From what Tom Vorjohan had told me a couple of weeks ago, registration was down considerably over their normal figures in the past, but I guess they're starting to slowly limp along in order to try to get up to pre-pandemic levels. But this is their 48th annual convention. I say annual because there are a few years, of course, they didn't have it. But anyhow, picking it back up at number 48. So, have a little sip of coffee here just a second. Starting to get dry. Yeah. That's some good hot black coffee. You gotta love it. Anyhow, getting ready to board here shortly. Gonna leave the club, go to the gate, get aboard, and I got nonstop to Knoxville, and then we're off from there. I think one of the people I'm going to be talking with first off, at least as far as an upcoming episode that will be posted, will be with Terry Evanswood. So for those of you who are listening now, it's a little bit of a hint, or actually a tip of who you'll be hearing in the future. Typically, I don't tell you who's coming up, unless you subscribe to the pod letter, which I recommend, of course, that you do. If you go to the magicwordpodcast.com, there you'll see a little pop-up where you can subscribe to our weekly pod letter to let you know who's coming up from week to week. If not, then just keep tuning in to these podcast episodes wherever you can get them, through iTunes or Spotify or from iHeartRadio, wherever. Anyhow, until I see you on the other side, this is Scotty out.
Hey everyone, Tom Vorjohan here, talent chairman for the Winter Carnival of Magic. Very, very excited. Less than 24 hours, we're going to be up and running. Just picked up my buddy Scott. Scott, where are you?
I just got in from Houston. Hey there, everybody.
It's Scott Wells.
Hello, this is Scott Wells from the magicwordpodcast.com.
We're very excited to have the Magic Word Podcast here at the convention, and you're going to be doing stuff every day. There's a lot of incredible people to talk to, a lot of history in our 48 years. In fact, we're dedicating the convention to George Kimry, who was there in the very beginning and had been to all of them, got it started. And
he just passed this last fall, was it?
Yeah, February 23rd.
Oh, so, just a couple months ago, yeah.
Yeah, so we're very excited to have him. But Jon Armstrong beat you in. He took the red eye out of L.A., and he's already he's napping at the hotel, I've been told. We're heading back to the theater right now to set up tables for the dealer's room. Dealers set up in the morning. Registration starts at 11:30, and the dealers are open right after that. So we are ready. It's a full convention, Scott.
So you still got some room for people to register, I guess, then?
We do. You know, it's a 1,300-seat
you got plenty of room.
place. We've never sold out. The day we sell out, I quit. That'd be good. That would be awesome. But no, we'll have a couple, between 200 and 300 magicians. A lot of their spouses or partners, or even some children come. A few older children usually.
Well, there's room for you guys to come also. That I know after you've just heard the first day of updates, you'll probably think, how come that I'm not here? And so if you're anywhere within driving distance, you need to come on down or come on up wherever you happen to be, north or south, I guess, of us, and to enjoy the convention. Again, I'll be posting some daily updates for if you just go to themagicwordpodcast.com, if you've not heard that before, that podcast, you can download the podcast wherever you get these on Spotify or iTunes or iHeartRadio, wherever it is. Anyhow, you get the general idea, but each day I'll be reporting. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be coming. You should just be listening to those reports. That means that you should be inspired to come and at least be here for a couple of days.
And if they miss
Wednesday, we said it doesn't start till Thursday.
It doesn't start till tomorrow. But if they miss this year, I guess they could come to our 49th or our 50th. I've already hired 2 acts for each of those years.
Is that right?
I'm not telling you yet. Sorry. You're just going to have to make plans to be here in March.
It's always a good convention. I tell you, I've been coming for a long number of years. In fact, I remember one of the early ones. Back, some of you might recall, I used to be the convention editor for Magic Magazine. And I recall in 93, I think it was, when they had the blizzard of 93 in Gatlinburg.
24 inches of snow in 24 hours.
Yep, an inch an hour. And I remember CNN coming in with a helicopter, and they were taking photos of everybody. And the problem was that those who worked there couldn't get out, and so we were trying to find places to eat. I think the only place was like a pizza place that was open.
It was it was crazy.
It was hard, and so the fun thing was, because we had, just a bunch of magicians there, you want to do another day? Sure. So we had another extra day of convention.
Because nobody could get out. You couldn't go north, south, east, or west.
Nope.
Every road would shut down.
It was all shut down, and I remember with Giovanni was there. I got to be good buddies with him, and Steve Beam just knocked out of the park doing some very funny stuff.
Warren Stevens, I think, did a lecture as well.
He did.
Yeah.
But anyhow, and it's just, this has always been an epic convention. There was another fellow, Frank Furkey, who used to have some epic parties, years ago.
Well, we have parties now. We have a final pizza party that's in the lobby of the hotel. But we also,
Saturday,
the night before, on Friday night, one of the friends of the ring invites everybody over to his home, which is not just a home.
It is not just a home. It is amazing. He has, I don't know how to explain all that.
No, don't even bother. You can't go if you're not at the convention.
But you'll be invited if you do.
Yeah, so we hope everybody can make it, and you're going to get to hear about it on the Magic Word Podcast if you do have to miss it. But mark your calendar for 2024.
And also, come on up if you have nothing to do this weekend. I mean, it can be...
Yeah, we sell a very reasonable one-day pass. I mean, there's going to be, Saturday alone, there'll be 4 lectures.
Well, first of all, if you buy the whole thing, it's still less than $200.
Yeah, well, we may change that for next year. I don't know. It's
encourage people to sign up earlier.
Yeah, well, to encourage you to sign up earlier. That's exactly right. So we know how many are coming. Anyway, look forward to seeing everybody. Thanks, Scott.
Scotty out. We have arrived, and we are now in, actually, Pigeon Forge. We've already checked into the Ramada and having a little bit of breakfast now. But part of the talent who's going to be here then is Jon Sterlini. Hey there, John.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
And Tamara. Hey, Tam.
Good morning.
And Jay's here as well, Jay.
Howdy, how's everybody doing?
We're fine. So I'm here this morning just to talk with you guys over breakfast to find out a little bit about, you said this is, Tam, your first time as well, so tell me about this and why.
This is just one of my favorite areas to visit, and this is probably the convention that I've most wanted to work since, John and I have been together almost 20 years now, and this is the one that's been at the top of my list, and it never worked out until this year, so there you go.
And you told me that as a child you used to come here.
Yes, pretty much every summer as a child growing up, my parents and I would come down to Pigeon Forge, and we would camp in the mountains, and my dad loves this area, so there we go.
Now, back then, did they have Silver Dollar City, or was it Dollywood, or what did they have?
They did have Dollywood, right? It had just opened. Wow, I'm really dating myself there, but I remember going to it the first year it had opened, and that was quite the big to-do when we were down here. So,
have you, as you continue to go back, I assume they added more rides and it just expanded?
Yes, yep. And fun fact, I auditioned for Dollywood about 10 years ago, and I got cast, but it didn't work out with the pay. so there you go. I did not continue my career at theme parks down.
John's pay's a lot better.
Well,
room and board. She has a hell of a collection of shoes. That's all I'm going to say.
And Jay, you were saying that you have come down here a few times, but actually passing through with the circus.
Yeah, the only time I've ever stopped in Pigeon Forge was for Smoky Mountain Knife Works because they sell the throwing knives that I like to use in the circus. But I've toured with circuses mostly, so I've done the Gatlinburg circus, and when we're on the road, we're always too busy to stop. I'm always in a hurry to get to the next spot to set up the show, so I never really got to stop and enjoy it, so I'm looking forward to enjoying it.
Which circus was that?
That was Loomis Brothers Circus.
Okay.
And Loomis Brothers is a big three-ring circus. He's still touring right now. He's got a great show. If you get a chance to see Loomis Brothers, you won't regret it.
And that's not to be confused with Loomis the Magician, I guess. Is that right? Or?
Justin Loomis owns Loomis Brothers Circus. He told me that Dennis Loomis was his uncle.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. And Justin Loomis loves magic, the owner of Loomis Brothers Circus.
And so do they have magicians, actually, or a magician performing with the circus?
They've had magic acts on the circus. Loomis himself has performed illusions on the show, but I don't think there's any on there this year. When I worked with the show, I did a Wild West act, so I did knife throwing and whip cracking and rope spinning.
And so when they are touring, is it mainly in the Midwest, or do they tour the country, or where are they now? What do they do?
They go everywhere. They don't go to the West Coast very much, but all up and down the East Coast, the South, the Midwest. I've been all over with Loomis Brothers in the few years that I worked with him. Yeah.
And you're still with him on and off, or?
No, I just got back from working a Shrine Circus date for Circus Sational in Memphis, but I don't work for Loomis Brothers at the moment. Who knows? I might again, but I don't right now. That's how it goes. You know, you go from show to show. Right now, I work at Sterlini Theater, so I manage the theater and help with the shop. And that's what I do right now. I live in Colon, Michigan.
Oh my God, we'd be lost without Jay. He is so helpful. So,
speaking of theaters, and also then, John, I know that Dwayne Laughlin's theater had closed last year when I was in Colon for Abbott's Day. We're just shutting down. Has anybody reopened that, or what do they have plans to do with that? Do you know?
Don't really know currently. They do a gospel night, which Dwayne started. They still do that every other Sunday, is that correct?
I think so.
But as far as what's going to happen with the venue, no one knows.
So when there's a show every other Sunday, who's booking that? I mean, who's responsible for the theater? Is it the city, or who's?
Well, Carl Thornton. He owns the building,
of course, I guess.
And
he owns the town.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Thorntonville.
I don't know. Yeah. We want to change the name to Thorntonville. So I don't know. We call him the ambassador of Colon. So I think that's
appropriate, I think, indeed. Speaking of which, last time that you and Carl were in Houston, we had great dinner and a lot of fun. And I recommend that people go back and listen to our podcast that we had sit and chatted for quite a while.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. But the Carl owns the 5-star pizza place that he runs, which I always recommend that everybody stop by to eat. Yeah, it is really good. Not just because it's the only pizza place in town, but it's really good, best pizza, I think, around the region. You know, really, the people would be coming in. Anyhow, enough of that advertisement. So,
I'm sure he'll send you a check.
But are you and him involved with the Michigan Magic Day?
We are not. We did Michigan Magic Day. It was 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, because you advertised, I remember, on the podcast.
Correct. Actually, the Marshall Ring is in charge of it this year. So
it'll be in Marshall, I guess, then?
Correct. And that's
It's coming up pretty soon, isn't it?
April 1st, I think.
Yeah. So just around.
It is just a day. It's like Saturday, April 1st. Yeah. That's right.
Basically, they have like a
ride coming out. It's going to be a pretty good event. It looks pretty cool. We won't be able to make it. We have things to do, but it looks cool. I would definitely go if I could.
And when you say you got things to do, you're going to be traveling, touring? What do you guys...
Actually, we're opening up our theater. And actually, next weekend, we have our close-up weekend.
Okay.
And so...
Tell me about that.
So since we get back, we're getting ready for that. We have John Bannon and Tom Dombrowski.
Dobrowolski, yeah. I know, I do the same thing. I just...
We talked to
Tom
Keith
D.
Sinclair. It's like, we're changing his name. It's Tom Dombrowski. I don't
Can't
care.
have 4 syllables.
Tom Dobrowolski, and then Nathan Kranzo is going to be our MC and host. And that's a 2-day event. We're feeding the guys, so we have a taco bar one night, pizza one night, 5 Stars sponsoring. Yeah, and we have a flea market on Saturday morning. Then, like John said, John Bannon is lecturing and performing, and then Tom Dobrowolski. John always messes me up on the name. Tom Dobrowolski is performing and lecturing as well. So. And we have a few seats available for that.
Where can people register for that?
Yeah.
MagicCapitalCloseup.com. I think by the time this comes out, we might...
It'll be in the morning. It'll go out tonight.
Okay, yeah. So this is the 16th and 17th. And we have...
Wait, 17th?
17th and 18th.
Yeah, that's what they said, 17th and 18th.
That's Friday and Saturday.
What do you know, Jay?
Not much. I just wander around a lot, look aimlessly.
So you're saying that your place depends upon him. Is that right?
Sure. We'll go with that.
Hey, I'm strong and I can move stuff, all right?
A girl always needs a man with muscles. That's all I'm saying.
She tells us when we need to get dressed. And, you know.
Well, you tell them about the website. The date.
Yeah, MagicCapitalCloseup.com. And, yeah, they can register there. And this isn't a marketing thing. I mean, we really only have a few seats. I limited it to 52 seats. 52? Imagine that.
Where that number comes from.
52 and 2 jokers.
So you say that your theater's going to be opening. Is that going to be like right next door or something?
No,
Did you knock on a wall? Or
No, we're opening for the season.
Oh, okay.
So we're starting in April. Because, you know, Colin, it's seasonal.
Right.
So it's pretty much like a Memorial Day through Labor Day. Although we went right through to...
Yeah, we start a little bit early to get things ramped up and get going, so that way by the time summer actually hits, it's really going. So we'll start April 1st, and then we'll run all the way through. I think December we'll do our last variety show, and then we'll be done for the season until April again. But
you'll be continuing with your... Sterlini Live Facebook page things.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we're in our 4th year now.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's hard to believe that... Well, how many years have you been doing this?
12.
Okay.
It goes by fast.
Yeah.
Been listening to your podcast for a long time. For a long, long time.
I'm coming up on number 750. In fact, I just recorded that last week. And I'll tell you guys, and for anybody else who's listening might be interested, because I never tell people who's going to be coming in advance, but I'll let you in, and it's Luis D'Amatos.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Always like to have someone special for the 50th, you know.
Fun story for you is I remember being on the road in the circus, and I would listen to your podcast, and after about the 4th or 5th episode in a row, because we'd be driving for hours, my girlfriend would just say, "Can we please, something else, please?"
Sound like my wife, you know.
Dead, please, something else. But yeah, I used to listen to your podcast driving down the road all the time, touring with the circus.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad. Thank you very much. I'm glad you listened. Thank you guys very much for listening, and thanks also for your comments. Good luck with the convention, and you're going to be dealers as well, or
yes. Okay. So we're doing the Mayhem auction tonight, which this is the first time. I mean, we've had people live in the shop and whatever, but this is going to be the first time with like a live group, and then also our group online.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. The biggest thing, we just want to have fun.
And you're going to be performing?
We're performing
on the Friday night show.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good luck. Break a thread and enjoy the convention.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys. So, for the Magic Word podcast, that was Jay, and that was John and Tam. We'll see you. Scotty out. We're in the dealer's room right now, and quite a few dealers. I'm going to say it looks like about 20 dealers, 22 dealers or so that are around here. This is all part of the Country Tonight Theater. So in the foyer where they normally will be selling their concessions, they also have dealers who are set up then right now while the concessions area is closed then, of course. And I'm here then right now with one of the dealers, Pattrick Pryzsecki. Hey there, Patrick.
Hey, hi, Scott.
good to see you. And you have brought a lot of pads with you. Those of you who have been to any Magic conventions of all, you've probably seen Pattrick at one time or another. He makes it around to all of them. Not all of them every year, but quite a few of them each year. And this is your first convention this year? You were, of course, at Magi Fest in Columbus.
That's correct,
yeah. And you sell the finest pads, close-up pads, and they don't separate. So it's some sort of a special bonding that you have, and so the heat doesn't bother it much, or what?
Well, I make these all myself, so I spray the glue, and I put on extra glue, so it should never come apart.
One of the tips you had given me a long time ago is to make sure whenever you're storing your mat or you're carrying your mat, you fold it. It's kind of counterintuitive, but you fold it so the rubber is on the inside. You roll it, I should say.
Yeah. That helps with any mat. When you do it the other way with the fabric on the inside, it'll start to separate from the foam in the middle, and you'll see creases, and that's why that happens.
And you've also, speaking of creases, you've got then a special pad that actually folds that you can stick inside your coat pocket.
Yeah, we have the small ones that'll fit right inside your coat pocket, all the way up to 17 by 26 inches that folds in threes, and we have a carry case that goes with that. I call it the Armando because Armando Lucera is one of my ambassadors, and he just loves that style, so and named it after him.
I like that also. I carry it around whenever I'm doing some cocktail parties. When you're strolling, that's one thing, but among people who are standing up, but if you got a table, you can pull out of your pocket, and it's very convenient. One of the new processes that you've got that you're introducing here, you have been doing not silkscreen, what am I going to say, but the printing on there before, just the sewn, what's that called?
We had printing, we had dye sublimation printing, and now we do it in-house.
Okay.
I also have an awesome embroidery lady.
That's what I was saying, you had embroidery. I got a wonderful pad that you made embroidery.
Yeah, I did all the ones for the Winter Carnival a few years ago, and so if you need a logo or make your mat look cool, give me a call.
That's what I always suggest. If you're going to be having a trade show you're going to be doing, particularly if you're going to be having the same client multiple times, you should have their logo put on there. Don't have your name put on there, but have actually a nice logo that's going to be embroidered on the pad. And if you could do it in the colors of the company, even all the better. But one of the things, again, I just got from you was a great thing that if you go to the magicwordpodcast.com, you'll see a photo of this that shows Magic and Martinis Thursday. Thank you for making it. That is awesome.
Yeah, it was my pleasure, Scott. We've known each other a long time, and I had fun doing it.
And so I just want you to see that kind of quality of what this can look like, so you don't have to have it embroidered. Is it when one is paying for this, let's say the same size pad, does it cost more or less if you have it printed embroidered versus this printing process?
No, it's the same price. It's $39. If you have a special logo, there's a setup fee that the embroidery company charges to make it into a program that the computer can read, but then you get that file, so if you ever want to get a shirt made to match it, you can take it to your local embroidery shop, and you'll have it's called a DST file, and it'll plug it into their embroidery machine, and it's all good to go.
Wow, that's very good. Well, you've got a lot of mats with you, and I'm sure you're going to be going through a lot of these because there are a lot of close-up guys here. We have a pretty good turnout here this year.
Yeah, this is exciting. I haven't been here in a few years, so it's great to come back down to Tennessee.
Well, it's good to see you, Pattrick. Good to spend time with you, and good luck.
Thanks, Scott.
So the Magic Word Podcast. That was Pat's Mats. And Pattrick Pryzsecki, Scotty out. John, is this your first? I'm here with Jon Armstrong, by the way. Hey, John, sorry. Jump right into it already. That's right. Here he is, Jon Armstrong.
Yeah, it's a conversation. You always say that, just a conversation.
It is. Exactly.
Yeah, I am. This is my first Winter Carnival of Magic. I'm super stoked to be here. I'm lecturing and performing. Yeah, awesome.
And you're lecturing today at 4 o'clock.
Lecturing today at 4 o'clock, yep.
And then when is your performance?
I think Saturday. I'm in the Saturday night show.
So people who might be coming in tomorrow on Friday, you're missing his lecture, but you're going to have a booth or someplace you can have.
I won't have a booth, but if you see me around, I mean, I'm here to attend the convention. I'm not here to do my lecture, hide out for my hotel room, and then come back.
Yeah.
You know, I want to actually hang out. So if you see me around and there's stuff you're interested or you heard about me doing, then I can show you and definitely sell it to you because I'm all happy to sell you stuff.
You were saying yesterday that you were telling me this is a brand new lecture, some stuff.
Yeah, brand new lecture.
That you're going to be selling, and one of the things is the ring on tie?
Ring on tie. So it's been a routine I've been doing for about 10 years now, and it's essentially a ring and rope. George Sands, Pavel, David Williamson's moves all in there, but with a tie as opposed to a rope, and there's a definite ending. And the ending is that you're able to take the tie and change it into a bow tie. It's a long, normal necktie, and then you change it into a bow tie, and you wear that bow tie throughout the rest of the show. So it's just a way for not only you to do a routine that has a lot of strong magic beats that plays very big because of how big and thick a tie is.
Right.
It gives a motivation for all of the moves and for the routine itself, and really trains the audience to respond to you. It's a way to teach them to, like, here's where you applaud, guys. Here's where you cheer. You really put them in there. So it works really well for family audiences, and then it has a nice cap that when the bow tie is now on you, they remember that you did magic. And it's for the rest of the show, you're wearing this thing that is the instant way for them to remember, oh, wow, he changed that from one thing to another thing. And it's a way to really sort of anchor them into remembering how good you are, how amazing you are. And it's part of my sort of thing that I've been pushing. It's going to be part of the product line and the sets of books and stuff I'm working on, where I think that you have to be able to really train the audience, train them to do what we want them to do. We need to unite the audience, build them, make them feel less like individuals and more like a group, so they all together, and engage them so that, and that sort of works in hand with the uniting them, so that they are constantly being have stimulus, so that they feel like they're actually part of the experience. Because the big difference between us and a screen is that we can give them interactivity that they can't get by watching a screen. And we have to remind them of that as much as possible. That's what really sets us apart. That's why we can still survive in this incredible electronic era. Right. And then last, we have to impress them. We have to make sure that they are actually impressed, that when they came in for a magic show, they get to see some actual magic. And this routine has that. It has all the things in there, so I'll be lecturing on that. I'm lecturing on another Cards Across with Uno cards and a dry erase board, which is, in my mind, the best family show version of that you could possibly do. And then I have a bunch of things that will be coming out through my site, Armstrong Magic, emphasis on the strong magic, where I will be talking about these things I just mentioned, and then more products of that ilk, ways to frame your show. Basically, about 10 years ago, I decided I just wanted to be a stand-up magician, stand-up performer, and these are my thoughts that I've been doing since then. So
you haven't put the plunger away completely, though.
No, I still do it as a camera and screen piece. It's the only close-up trick I still do on a regular basis, and I do it on stage with a camera and a screen. I'll be talking about that today as well, and how to frame a close-up piece on stage so that it actually plays better and doesn't feel like, oh, why am I watching TV when I could be doing that back in my room?
Right, yeah. Right. That is a fine line. I often wonder about that whenever I see some people. It's like, well, this was good, but I could have watched that video.
Right, and I think that's the secret. That's what, again, it's the engaging them as much as possible, making sure that they are reminded that they're in the now and in the present, and they're not feeling like everything is being passively served to them.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. I like that. And so for people who are going to be coming here, they should, if they don't hear your lecture today, they can catch you later and see what you have left from here. And
sure. If they see me around and what I have left.
If they're not here, where do they go to your website?
They go to my website. Eventually, it'll be armstrongmagic.com. It'll be just the shop, for magicians. No, I'm launching it after this weekend, so that's the thing. I'm basically I built this. All of the ring and ties are custom made. Like a seamstress actually makes the ties.
Includes
custom.
The ring and everything.
Yeah, includes a really weird ring too. It's really fun. Okay. So it's all part of the routine, but the ties are custom made. So getting them done on a regular basis is tough. And so I want to make sure I have some I want to have some for this convention, and then I want to make sure I have some in stock before I put it online.
And so you've been working feverishly on that even up till this morning, early morning.
Absolutely true. Yeah, putting it all together in my my
custom
hotel.
Made.
Yeah.
So don't expect that this is going to be anything inexpensive, but it is something that's custom made because it's going to be pretty much one of a kind. Not many people are going to be able to have this. Plus, you get complete performing rights with this.
Yes, performing rights. You can do whatever you want with it.
Television as well.
Television as well. If they want to do it on TV, you're welcome to it.
You've not performed this yet, I guess, on AGT or Penn and Teller.
No, I've not done any. I've not done it there. No.
Yep. So you're looking forward to having a good time at this convention, kind of hanging out and everything. Then, so
I'm going to hang out in session and do card tricks and stuff. But that's my hobby is doing card tricks now. My living is doing family shows for Disney. So
I think what's kind of fun is we look around over here. There are like a half dozen tables, and they all have close-up pads on the table, ready for sessioning.
That's right. People
in the dealers room.
In the dealers where they should be. Hang out and do stuff. That's awesome.
This is the place.
Yeah.
So if you guys have not registered for this convention and you're hearing this report, and you're anywhere in the area, you need to come on down. This is going to be great. Again, some good lectures this afternoon and shows, but everything really, even though we're kicking off this afternoon, I think at 1:30 is the first event or something?
Yeah, 1:30 is the Sterlini lecture. David Kinn's after that. I'm at 4 o'clock. Good stuff today, good stuff tomorrow.
Full day tomorrow,
Yeah, full day tomorrow. And shows tonight, too. So.
Yep. So, again, if you are not here, then come as quickly as you can. If you can't, for whatever reason, and you're overseas and just can't make it, then please continue to listen to the daily updates over here. We had a great time then last night. John and I and a few other people went over to Terry Evans Wood's Mystery Mansion Magic.
Amazing. That was just the collection of stuff.
Not just magic.
No, just things. Like he was very clear that he collects collections, and he wasn't kidding.
Right.
He has collections of just the most random but very cool stuff. And as my interests outside of magic are related to like comics and theme park rides. And for him to have like all of this stuff from like really obscure theme park rides, like. It was amazing. He literally had the main character from this defunct attraction from the old $Dollar City, which is now Dollywood. What I remember seeing in the '90s, and it blew my mind that he had that thing.
I think both of your minds were equally blown because he didn't know you were among the group of the few of us, and the background that you have consulting with Disney, and working on the rides, and he collects a lot of this stuff. It's like, wait a minute, you know about dark rides? I mean, the two of you, it was just both like a mutual admiration society. All
it was two magicians geeking out, but not about magic. We were just like, hey, you know about this thing? Oh yeah, let's. It was pretty great. I loved it. What an amazing thing! And if you're ever in Pigeon Forge, you should see his show. And I'll fully admit, I've not seen it, but I just assume it's amazing because any guy with that that sort of like thought put in what he showed us last night is got it. That show's got to be amazing. And then. You can buy and go on this tour, and you should do this tour or this home, and it is amazing, and you 100% should do it.
I think it's on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays that he has the tour of his home, and I think he said it was like $29.95 for the tour, and then another $10 for the magic show that follows afterwards. But the tour itself can last anywhere from an hour and a half to 8 hours, I guess.
Yeah, he was just doing stuff, and as a magician, obviously magicians are listening to this. The collection of cool magic history stuff was amazing too. But that was like one part of it. This insane collection.
Yeah, you have to go down in this coal mine elevator thing,
Yeah, he's got theme park ride elements in it.
In his house.
Insane.
And his house was built pre-Civil War, and he's got a lot of things talking about the Civil War, and his collection we haven't touched on this, but includes P.T. Barnum, the Titanic. He's got bedrooms that are devoted to this. He's got during Halloween, he's got some stuff that he dresses up, I guess, where you kind of walk through this freak museum that he's...
Willy Wonka room?
Willy Wonka, I forgot almost about that.
The Willy Wonka room, great magic posters, and it's an amazing, diorama of, his ultimate dream theme park. That he has all the models that he made, and it's a whole room. Yeah, it's 100% worth going down and seeing.
That's right, and it is open to the public. You just need to make reservations when you come to Pigeon Forge to see that. Anyhow, we were delighted to see that, and I recorded an episode with him as we kind of walked through that, and it was about an hour and a half, which I'll have to break up into a couple of future episodes, but it is a feast for the ears and certainly for the eyes, so look forward to that.
Yeah, totally cool. Yeah.
John, thanks very much. Always good to catch up with you then, man.
Hey, buddy, thanks.
And so you're getting ready to head out on a cruise ship, so I'll miss you next week at the castle?
Yes, I will not be at the castle. I'll be back on the Disney Fantasy. That's where I'll be.
You've been working with Disney since you were 13?
I had a Disney theme park job when I was a teenager, getting people on rides and sweeping up and stuff. But I had my show at Epcot when I was 20, and then and my mentor, Terry Ward, he worked at Disney for 30-some-odd years. He's a guy who I saw and I went, that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. So, and then he became like my teacher, my mentor, and so Disney's had a huge impact on me as far as being magic-wise. I would say huge. And then I started working for them and performing for them, and have been in some capacity for, I'm 47 now, since 27 years.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, and thanks a lot for being my friend and for being here and hanging out. So have a great convention. Okay, we'll see you. It's over the Magic Word Podcast. That was Jon Armstrong. Scotty out. Continuing around in the dealer's room over here, one of the people I got last evening, of course, I'd mentioned about the museum, actually the house that Terry Evanswood lives in, that is a museum, that he conducts tours through that, but another person who conducts tours and works at the American Museum of Magic, who is driven down here from Marshall, Michigan. I've got with, actually, you're not from Marshall, but you're from Lansing, I guess. From Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids is Jeffrey Allen. Hey, Jeffrey.
Hello.
So glad that you made it down. Had a nice trip then last night.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, you were actually staying at Terry's home in the Titanic
room. And I always get a sinking feeling when I walk in. But
Ba-doom boom. Okay, I love that. He's probably heard most of them by this point. So you're going to be there throughout the weekend and heading home Sunday, like
yes.
the rest of us. How many of these winter carnivals have you come to?
I can't even remember.
A lot. You come to? Okay.
Yeah.
That's how far of a drive? 4 hours, 5 hours?
From Grand Rapids to here, it's close to 9.
Wow. Okay, it's full day
to
get here.
Yeah.
And what is it that makes you want to come back to this convention? What's about?
This is one of the smaller, but it's one of the most fun of the smaller conventions. Mm-hmm. And I remember we really came together in March of 2020. At the end of the week, they announced that there was some kind of virus or something, and we all need to go home and be safe.
Yeah. It was the last convention, the last Magic convention before the shutdown.
Yeah. And I told Tom that this was the best convention of the year. That year.
Yeah. Unequaled. Nothing competed with it, literally. So it was a good convention. So what makes it good is because the performers, the people, the fact you get to, because it is small, you get to see everybody. I mean, all the things, obviously.
Yeah, it's a ring-sponsored event, and typically, local rings don't put on this kind of a thing this large, at this scale.
That's true, because it does draw people from all over. I mean, you look at some of the talent that they've got, that they brought in from around the world, including Artem Shukin from Russia, who was a FISM winner. As well as different people. I mean, I mentioned Jon Armstrong, we just talked to a moment ago, coming in from L.A. And so we got people from across the country and around the world who come in to this convention year after year. And they do have some top talent. And I'm sure the guys come in and think, we're in the Smoky Mountains, never heard of the Smoky Mountains in some cases. And they get here, it's like, well, this is really great.
When I come around the bend in Kentucky there, I turn on Ronnie Millsap, Smoky Mountain Range.
That's funny. That's a good one, just to kind of get you in the mood for everything. And so, have you ever lectured here or talked about the American Museum?
But, dare I say, we were at the Unconventional Convention last year in Kentucky, which is about, 2 hours from here, 3 hours? Mike Woodward's Unconventional.
Yeah, Lexington.
I lectured there and performed last year. Mm-hmm. We're talking to Tom about that.
Because you and Angelina also perform, I know, at Abbott's
yes.
there each year.
Yeah.
And as far as the stuff, are you adding more things? I mean, you have your own things in your lecture that you sell and your own things that you create, but do you have things that you come here that you think, I've heard about this trick, but I want to buy something, or you just kind of look to see what's...
Yeah, I see what's new, see what's happening. The Sterlinis are here.
From Cullen,
new. Yeah.
Speaking of which.
So, yeah.
And so what's new? What's happening at the museum?
The museum is supposed to open April 1st. We have a little glitch with the new director, but we're still anticipating opening. But what's interesting about this year is it's the 45th anniversary of the museum. Mm-hmm. And on opening day, we're coordinating that with Michigan Magic Day. And that's sponsored by one of the local rings in Michigan.
It's April 1st?
Year. April 1st, yeah.
You're not fooling?
No fooling.
Okay.
Well, Bob opened that is Robert Lund of the museum opened it April 1st, 1978, I think on purpose. I believe also that's his birthday.
Oh, is that right?
Come to think of it. Yeah. So, a friend of mine who was a traveling magician was born on April 1st.
Are you going to be having some sort of a commemorative poster or something that's available, particularly for those who are donors?
Yes. The poster this year is Leroy. It's a real nice poster from the 1890s, reprint on canvas. If someone would give $100 or more to the museum for membership, the annual membership, they would receive that in the mail.
Last year was Susie Wanda's, I believe, right?
Yes.
And you had Blackstone, of course, and several others, each year. And so these are tax deductible donations because it's 501c3?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, your membership is tax deductible, 100%.
So that's something that, as your listeners should look into if you want to help sponsor a great, what can I say, landmark. I mean, this is something very important to the magic community that is, David Copperfield's got his museum, but that's a private museum, and it's difficult for most to get into that. This is something that's open and available. Even though you say the season's starting, you can still see it by appointment.
Yes, yeah. And if they were to Facebook me or something, message me, I would be willing to come down. It's a 90-minute drive for me, but I always love to give the Magicians Only tour.
I tell you, when you and I were together with Harry Jacobson up in Detroit, it was good because we used your contact to go to the Paquette Museum, and that was a marvelous tour of one of Henry Ford's early plants.
His first building he ever owned.
Yeah. That was,
it is
Great.
amazing.
I really love that.
And now our former director of the museum, Sarah, is the director of the R.E. Oldsmobile plant in Lansing. Mm-hmm. So next time you're back in town, we'll go to the Lansing Oldsmobile.
Okay. I'll make plans to stay a little bit longer and do that. I enjoyed it. Jeff, thanks very much.
Okay.
Good talking to you. Enjoy the convention.
Thank you.
Okay. So over the Magic Word Podcast. That was Jeffrey Allen, or Jeffrey Broderick. This is Scotty out. Continuing in the dealer's room, speaking of dealers, here is a dealer who is not a dealer. Let me see if I can rephrase that. I've got Tim Felix with me, he's not a dealer at this convention. We're in the dealer's room, though, and he was a dealer, but he's closed Midwest Magic, the physical shop, but he still has an online shop. So he was a dealer, is a dealer, still is a dealer, right?
Except that the online shop is now on hiatus as well.
Okay.
I came to the conclusion that, first of all, after starting to move and having a big storage unit, which ended up being 2, which ended up being 3, which ended up being 4 that I packed to the door, I can't access anything. So I've got a lot of work ahead of me. So my web guy, who's wanted to change my whole platform and update the technology, I just had lunch with him on Monday, and if it takes a month, fine. If it takes 3 months, fine. 6 months, fine. I don't care. Take your time. I'm kind of enjoying being able to take a deep breath.
Well, after so many years, because you've been there 26
years.
Okay.
Yeah, a long time. And hey, I get to breathe. Everybody I know, I get the people coming up going, how are you feeling?
Yeah.
Are you okay? Is everything okay? How are you? I'm thrilled.
Yeah.
It's called relief. It's wonderful. I can come down here
and relax.
And I don't have to be on the computer all the time responding to people and doing all. This is great. It's really nice.
Yeah.
So.
Well, as you say, you got like 3 containers and everything. And I know you told me before you use just-in-time accounting, so you have like one of everything. And if you need another, you get another one. So it's not like you have a lot in stock. So if you got one of everything, it's a lot of stuff.
My ideal inventory level is 1. Now, obviously, there's things that I end up buying dozens of, but the ideal inventory stays 1. Mm-hmm. But I carry 14,000 different items.
Yeah, right.
That's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of stuff. So.
And so you are keeping all that then in a warehouse, or where? As far as when you're going to have the online
it's all
stuff?
In storage.
Okay, but let's say that somebody wants
if somebody wants
an invisible deck, you're going to have to go to the storage house, or
it's not happening right now.
Well, I know. Let's say 3 months now when you got the online.
The idea will be that I will, if I get something ordered, I'm building my office out in my home.
Yeah.
And if I get orders,
your wife's okay with all that?
Well, I've got a very understanding wife.
You must have.
I own a magic shop. First off, I've got the most important prerequisite for owning a magic shop. I have a wife with a job.
Okay.
Second, she's very understanding and very patient. So, and right now she's patient because the last of the stuff coming out of the shop got packed into the living room. I mean, I've got a house full of crap now. So it's insane. But I'm building my office out in the basement because it used to be my lifting room, and as you get older, the lifting bench becomes less and less of a lifting bench and more of a clothes hanger.
I understand.
So,
yep.
And so I gave that all away, and now I'm building out the office, and I'll be able to work on stuff down there if I get orders, and then head over to the storage place, pull it, and ship it.
That'll be your day.
That's the idea.
So there won't be people coming over and hanging out? Or
no,
you won't be fixing hot dogs?
That's the part that I'll miss.
Yeah.
But
the Cracker Barrel kind of aspect of hanging out was gone.
It was the clubhouse.
Yeah, exactly.
For an awful lot of people, so.
It was.
We'll miss that part.
Now, you had some full-time employees at one point, and then a little of the time they kind of went to part-time. Was Tom Dobranowski?
Tom, like the others, they were whitewashing the fence, as I like to put it. I had a bunch of guys that hung around, and several guys. I think Tom pointed it out in something he posted. There were half a dozen guys that would go ring themselves out. You know, they'd be back there and they'd get a bunch of stuff out from in the counter or whatever. Then they'd walk over and run their credit cards, and it was an amazing system.
Yeah. Well, whenever that you were putting all this stuff together, I was watching the post, and it was kind of sad, but I was so glad, though, to see all the people like Steve Chesney and all the friends who were there helping you.
Oh, everybody kicked in, because...
what a daunting task otherwise.
I don't know if you know Keith Cobb, but he killed himself in this move. I mean, he worked his finger to the bone. Mm-hmm. And everybody put in time, and boxing stuff and moving. Now, as things got later... and it got further towards the end.
You just tossing stuff?
It became a little less organized, and they dropped off on their labeling of boxes the way it started, which is going to be part of the problem. But we got through it.
You had about a dozen people, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. My last day was a 41-hour workday. I've never done that in my life, and I could never do it again. I don't have it in me.
Oh, my gosh.
But it started out being only a 24-hour workday, and I got home at 4:30 in the morning after 24 hours of working and thought, gee, now I'm just going to collapse. And I couldn't fall asleep.
Yeah.
So it ended up being 41 hours. Just insane.
So you were just bringing in food or having Uber Eats bringing in stuff or something? So you just kept working and the other guys...
Order another pizza, go out, grab a bunch of burgers, whatever.
Some guys probably went home, took a nap, came back, and continued on.
Well, I was the idiot who put in the 41 hours, but that's, you kind of have to. It's my place. I could hardly leave and have other people
Well, as I understand it then
away.
also, was the reason that you had closed was just because of the rent going up and everything. I mean, as far as the background.
Okay. Guy, I was there for 26 years on a handshake. Mm-hmm. Never had a lease. Well, I had a lease the first year. After that, never had a lease. And for many years, my landlord was the mayor of the town, which was great. Anyway, he had the building for sale for several years. Finally, somebody bought it. He had never seen the property. He lives in Virginia. And I don't know where he did his comparisons. I'm guessing, Elmhurst, Oak Park, Naperville. And Elmhurst, Oak Park, and Naperville are not Franklin Park.
Okay.
So Franklin Park is a little more of a depressed community. Mm-hmm. So he came back and tripled the rent. All this is after promises up and down. Nothing's going to change. Everything's going to stay the same.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, here's a new lease. It was triple the rent.
Wow.
And a $3,600 deposit and incremental increases for the next several years. And, if you do anything, you've got to pay for this, you've got to pay for this, you've got to pay. And there's no way. It's not going to happen. You don't make money. You don't make money in a magic shop in the first place.
Right.
So there's no way I can do it. So then
he was treating it like another regular restaurant or a regular business, and a magic shop is completely unique.
Well, the magic shop also is going to be an empty storefront. My guess is for a long time there are 6 other empty storefronts within 1 block of the magic shop, and he's going to add that to it. But he tripled everybody in the building. There were 5 businesses in the building. Everybody has left.
Was he expecting, do you think, it's hard to get into the guy's mind, but do you think he was wanting intentionally for everyone to leave and he's got an idea maybe of raising the place and rebuilding?
My initial reaction was I thought he was going to knock the building down and build condos or assisted living or something in that space.
Right.
He's putting money, not a lot, but he's putting money into the building. And now the building is still a piece of garbage.
It's old, yeah.
Yeah. But he had carpenters on one side, he had tile guys on the other side. But they're not gonna lease out at the prices he's expecting.
No,
so
not for that
we'll
area.
see.
That's interesting.
I don't care. I have little interest in Franklin Park anymore.
It's okay. Well, I just wanted to know some of the background. Some of the listeners, I think, was curious about that then as well. So thanks very much, and good luck with the online.
I appreciate it, Scott.
Once it's open, what will be the website?
It'll be the same website. It'll be MidwestMagic.net, and hopefully it happens fairly soon.
Yeah. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Good to see you, Tim. So the Magic Word Podcast. That was Tim Felix, Scotty. We've just finished the auction with the Sterlini auction, which was really a cool evening event. It was something that Tom Vorjohan was wanting to try for the first time, and hopefully he'll do that again in the future. The idea is every Thursday night, Jon Sterlini has the Magic Mayhem auction online, so people can bid online. He has about a dozen things or so. Some are collector's items, some are not. They can go anywhere from a few bucks to a few $100s. But anyhow, when you couple that with all of the people who were in the audience, and it kind of added to the fun and frivolity, I guess, of everybody bidding, and so it's a lot of fun. But then tomorrow we're going to be having a close-up contest. I'm here with Ed Ripley, and you might know Ed very well because he's competed and won in several contests, been on Penn and Teller Fool Us, and he is with me right now. Hey there, Ed.
Hey, how you doing, Scott? Long time no see.
Yeah, because of COVID, we haven't been defectors in such a long time. Normally, so we see each other all the time.
Yeah. So, what have you been doing to stay busy, Scott?
That's a good one. How would I do? That's right.
Yeah.
So you're going to be working with the close-up contest. Is that something that they've had before? Is this new kind of an idea?
So we've had the close-up contest every year, and our contest is usually we have some pretty good acts. A lot of people will consider this to be one of the better magic conventions, and so a lot of people will use this as one of their resume. If they win first place at the Winter Carnival, they use that as one of their resume builders until they get to the world level stage. So,
did you ever compete here?
Yes. So I did one of the years that members were allowed to compete, and I got first place with the hip hop act that I did at the World Championship, and I did it at
IBM.
At IBM, yeah, got a standing O from a bunch of really awesome kids.
Yeah, it's a very good act. So now you are the chairman then for the contest?
Yeah, Shank and I are co-chairs. Shank is a tremendous administrator. He's fantastic at keeping things straight. The two of us are working on it to make sure that everything flows smoothly. I've been doing most of the correspondence and sending stuff back to him. Mm-hmm. This year we're going to do the selections a little bit different. Normally they show up and we have a deck of cards 1 through 10, and the people go in the order. Well, what we've noticed is sometimes there'll be 2 mentalism acts right back to back, or 2 matrix acts, or 2 very similar card tricks next to each other. So what we're doing is we're still going to go back to the room. We're going to randomly draw people's order so it's fair, but we are going to take some administrative license to where we can scoot an act in front of or behind another one to make the show flow a little bit better. So we're going to do as little movement as possible, but every time that we do it, we want it to be in favor of the performer.
Do you vet the acts then? In other words, do they have to send in videos, or do they just send you a list saying, here are the tricks I'm doing?
So we had them send in a list. We had them send in basically their requirements as far as a table, chairs, and stuff, so we would know what setups they need, so we can coordinate that quite easily.
So it's open to all, basically, but they had to register in advance.
Yeah, we did not have tryouts or anything else. We do have all 10 slots filled. Some of the acts I've seen before and I know are good, solid acts, and the other ones will be surprises. This is a great place for people to come if they want to cut their teeth with a regional magic convention, because it's a very friendly, open atmosphere. You've been here, what?
Mm-hmm. I've been here half a dozen times.
Yeah, you've been here a lot. And we've got an extremely friendly convention, and afterwards that we share a lot of the information on the score sheets we'll share back with the contestants to try to make their act better the next time they improve it. And if they want to talk to me or one of the judges afterwards for ideas, there are a lot of people, as you know, here that are willing to share information to try to make magic stronger, because when magic is better, all the magicians are going to do better, right?
We all benefit. That's right. If we share, that's right, and collaborate. That's very true. Well, there are some clubs and organizations that do not have feedback. It's basically the judges are anonymous, and you don't know who they are, and they don't want to be known. They don't want to have to necessarily be responsible for telling you what their judging criteria have been, which I don't agree with. I think it's important that we do share and collaborate. As you said, then Ed, that moves magic forward if people know what they did right and wrong.
Yeah, so we sent out the rules as well as our score sheets to each of the contestants, so they know how many points they're going to get for appearance, how much they're going to get for originality, how much they're going to get for stage presence and everything else. Right. And then afterwards they can react to those scores and ask questions if they've got questions. But by giving them the stuff in advance, the score sheets in advance, they know what to expect and what to prepare for and what to weight more heavily. And I think it is good, because I've been in a number of conventions where it's just they just assign points arbitrarily, and the one with the most points wins. When we do our discussions afterwards, we'll look at the points, and if there's an obvious winner, then obviously that's a first, second, third type thing. However, almost every year what we find is somebody that's got a truly unique act, or somebody that's doing an act that's hauntingly similar to someone else's, and some of the judges will not recognize that. So if we had somebody that did an act that was extremely close to a professional act, a person's working repertoire, and it was not original, we can come in, and as we do those discussions, we can temper that into the mix. If somebody does something that's extremely difficult, a sleight of hand that's extremely difficult, some judges may see and recognize what he's done, and other ones may just not even know what happened. So by some of the judges being instructed what is more difficult, what's more original, we can also make better judges so that next time they're a little bit more familiar with the program.
Well, it's important that you have people who are going to be professionals that are in the mix. I mean, you can have some that are non-professionals and others, but I remember when I've been judges in several conventions, I've had people who I respect, and I thought, man, this is original that this particular guy is doing, and then Roger Klaus saying, no, he's doing so-and-so's move. Yeah. It's like, oh, I didn't realize that, but he knows, or maybe I know something he doesn't know. And back in the day, Roger's long gone.
And often we'll have a judge that's a total layman. So a person who's what we would call a muggle in the judging role as well, because their experience of magic and our experience of magic is completely different. Mm-hmm. So we try to make sure that when we pick judges, they're picked so that we can get a well-rounded experience and well-rounded feedback for the participant. But we also want to make sure that we're very sure that the first, second places are awarded to the people that truly deserve them. So there's, in the past, I don't know that it happens every year, but once in a while we'll get some where their score sheet may end up ahead of someone else's, and then the discussion and dialogue ends up, we all come to a consensus. We won't leave the room until we have a consensus. Yeah. Clearly one was better first place, one was clearly second place. But lots of times, as you know, there are discussions and information that I may not have or you may not have, or that is definitely going to sway those decisions.
Right,
so.
Right. You have to have a good mix of people in there, too. Well, it's good. Thanks very much. I appreciate hearing that. And if people who are thinking of coming to the convention after you've been hearing this, the contest will have already taken place, but you need to sign up then for next year and practice your act and get something together then for next year's Winter Carnival number 49.
Yes, so we've already started the lessons learned sheet for next year, Shank and I. So we've already started some things that we need to tick off so that we can do it better. Shank and I have helped with the close-up contest in the past, but at this point, we've never done it all ourselves. So we've started seeing what we can do to make it better for the contestants next year as well.
Good idea. Well, we need to get one. It sounds like that they're starting the next activity, which is going to be Bill Gladwell is going to be doing his hypnosis act. He's been doing this for a while now, I think about a year and a half or so, up in the Wisconsin Dells. And he used to work in Gatlinburg, not too far away from us here at Pigeon Forge. And so he's coming back. And so it's been a few years since he's actually done the hip act, because he's been doing mentalism, I think, actually, up in Wisconsin Dells. So sounds like it's going to be some fun. Ed, thanks very much. Good luck then with that, and enjoy the convention.
Thanks, and I'll see you at 4F in April.
It's not far from now, like about a month from today.
Yeah,
or so.
I've picked out a bottle of scotch and some cigars. So
well, we're going to enjoy that. I love that 4S Society.
Yes.
So for the Magic Word Podcast, that was Ed Ripley. Scotty out.